Hi guys, Sam from Woodgate Studios. Hope you're doing awesome today. I wanted to do a quick video that was a request from some guys. It's actually kind of been a couple of people have mentioned it now, on how to do chipping. And you can kind of see I've got some very, very subtle painted scrapes and chips and those sorts of things on here. This is a finished model of mine, just one of my Space Marine Primaris Impulsors, I want to say. I always get Repulsor and Impulsor mixed up. Basically what I've done is there's a lot of painted kind of scratches and sort of stuff on here. This is one of the things with weathering and scratches and those sorts of things on these models is that it's all built up in layers of texture. So I'm not going to go over some of these. I'm just going to kind of show you how to do the actual scratches themselves today. But this has kind of got a airbrush or a black like dry brush sort of dapple effect on the bottom near here sort of thing. So you'll see on this model there's kind of like a black grey, you know, a dark kind of gradient on the bottom of the model, which kind of gives that impression of dirt and filth towards the bottom of the model, and then you get towards the top and it's brighter, and there's you know it's got some more highlights and those sorts of things on the top. So that's one way of kind of accentuating the chips and the weathering on these things. But today I'm just literally going to go through and kind of show you how to do some of these scratches. I'm going to try and bring them a little bit closer to the camera there so you can kind of see the scratches. They are very, very kind of light on here. I don't like going crazy with scratches. You can obviously go as nuts with this as you want, but I kind of like it to kind of just give that impression of it being weathered a little bit and a little bit more, you know, battle worn. So without further ado, I'm going to leave this model over here and grab one that's got absolutely nothing on it to kind of show you what it looks like from scratch. So this is a Gladiator tank for my Ultramarines, and all I've done is given this a black undercoat. So it's had black on it, Ultramarines blue spray over the top, and then a dry brush, a very, very light dry brush of Calgar blue, which is my highlight colour. This will be apparent why I'm using these colours, and go and tell you about them in a second. But just to give you an idea, this technique can be replicated across the board with Dark Angels colours, blues, reds, greens, you name it. So I'm going to kind of give you the idea of the technique, and then you can replicate it with whatever colour you want. So in order to do these chips, what I need to do is get a darker colour than my base coat. So I've actually gone with Kantor blue, which I'm actually going to mix with a little bit of Murkrag blue, just to get it nice and dark. These are two different types of blues, but together they should be all right. If they're not, I'm going to mix a little bit of black in there. That's going to be one of our first scratches. It's just some dark lines and those sorts of things, and then we're going to highlight it with a Calgar blue, which is my highlight color on this model, just so that it all ties in. You don't want to be using colors that are different from the model. You can do, obviously, but to tie it all in on this model, I wanted to kind of use similar highlight colors and those sorts of things. So first things first, what I'm actually going to do is mix up a little bit. I'm going to grab this, because I'm all over the place at the moment with moving. I'm actually going to mix it in the top of a glue bit at the moment. So I'm going to grab some of the Murkrag blue, the dark blue that I'm going to be using, and sticking that in there. In fact, I'm going to need a little bit more than that, so I'm going to grab a little bit more with another brush. Awesome. And then I'm going to actually dark it down. The Kantor blue's okay. I think I'm actually just going to get a black and just throw that in there, and yeah, I'm just going to get a little bit of game colour Vallejo black, just to darken it down a little bit. This is to give the impression of the scratch itself, so the dark scratch on the model. So I'm just going to give that a little blob of black in there, and then we're going to give it a quick little mix up, and then we're going to get going on this. I'm going to kind of give you an idea of the blue. This is really taken over this black, so I may well need to put a little bit more in there. So kind of coming out of grey kind of colour. So that is awful, and I need to put a little bit more Macragge blue in there to get it the tone that I want it. So let's see if add in some more of this. That's fine. That's kind of darkened that Macragge blue down, and it's still the same kind of tone of blue, which is what you want to go for. So if you're going to use red, yellows or whatever, you want the same kind of tone, but just tone it down. I've mixed up far too much here in this thing, but it is the right colour. So what I'm going to start doing is, on this model, and I'm going to move the camera down a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is looking at the panels, and you can do this on Sprays Marines, you can do this on tanks, whatever. I'm going to just literally do some flecks. So I'm going to just do a line like that, and then another line like that next to it. And then I'm going to get another angle, and I'm going to do sort of something up here, and I'm going to go like, you know, just a line, a chip, and a chip, and I'm going to mix it up and do the third one there. And then I'm going to kind of go on a little bit on here, line there. And these are all kind of like bullet scrapes, or, you know, just bits of stuff that's flicking up. So I'm going to do it on here, one there, and then there. Let me get this on screen. So there's one there, there's some there that I've done, some up there, and you kind of see it eventually, you know, doing some good stuff. But just try and get some different angles, because it's going to get shot at from different sides and those sorts of things. And it's just a case of getting chips on here, different shapes, different sort of sizes. So I'm going to kind of do a blob here on this bit. You can kind of see I've blobbed it on there. And I'm just going to do this on the front face of this tank. You can do it kind of down the sides a little bit less, and then maybe on the top of this I'm going to do a couple on the top. But it's really just sort of like giving the impression of it being fired at, and different kind of types of scrapes and those sorts of things. You can do a couple off the top as well, and I'm going to do one off of here that is getting shot at from the front, and then I'm also going to do a couple off of here, little marks, and then we'll be good to get this, let this dry. Hopefully by the time I get this done, the first stuff will be ready to go. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do with the dark. So you'll see kind of where the scratches are. You can go crazy with this. You can also, if you want to kind of do other types of scrapes, you can get a sponge and sponge this on in different places. That gives kind of a different type of effect. This is just really scrapes and chips and those sorts of things. The sponge will give you a more irregular type view on it, which is also good, and you can just follow the same recipe that I'm doing here to work on that. So that's the first part of the scratches. Now you want to get your highlight color. So for what I've dry brushed this model in is Calgar blue. This is an air because I can't find my normal one, so yeah, that's on me. And then I'm literally just going to grab some of this and put and use this as my highlight on the scratches. So you'll see it all come together in a second. So there is my blob, and then I'm literally just going to grab, again, I'm using a tester's pot for my putting my palettes at the moment. I'm just going to get some of this on here. Air is a little bit less pigment heavy than the normal paint, so this might require me to go over it again. but I'm just going to kind of show you with this what it looks like. So I'm going to grab the model and where I have put my dark lines for my scratches, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a light line right beside of it, like that, and you'll see that that gives the impression of a chunk of a dark bit where a gouge has been made, and then the brighter part of it is kind of like that highlight part of it. Super easy to do, and as I said, I just kind of do it, and as long as you keep the highlight lines, the lighter lines next to the dark colors, you're good to go. And then always look at where the light is coming from, and then you can kind of start working on it like that and actually show that these, yeah, this air is going to need another coat on here just to kind of get it in. But yeah, it's a really good little technique. It's something I learned a while ago, and this is just a quick brush on style chipping technique that's not that you're actually painting on. Chips. So in essence, you've got two colors. You've got your dark color, your light, and you've got that on your base model, and it just helps. It looks good with the chipping side of things, and it just adds a bit more character to your model, and takes it to the next level, really. And I like doing it on especially sort of tanks and those sorts of things that are going to be used a number of times by the Space Marines and those sorts of things. So just chipping these makes it look awesome, and it's just a case of going round and finding where you put your dark lines and highlighting next to them, and making sure you get everything. And really, that's the technique. So you can kind of see where I've gone. You can tidy it up again by having some of the original color. So if you've got some Macragge blue, which I've been using to mix up, you can go and tidy it up as well, and get it all good. And you can also go back with the dark color as well to tidy up. So if some of these lines, these dark lines, are too big because you've been painting them on there, you can go back and just give it a quick tidy up with the black next to it, just to kind of make sure that you've got that black in there along with the other colours. So yeah, it looks, I think it looks great. It adds some character. It's not the hardest thing to do. All you got to do is be practicing how to do little lines going straight up and down, and you're good to go, really. So hopefully that's been of a help to some people on the chipping side of things. And as I said, it looks decent when you combine it with some of the other weathering techniques. It looks great, but hopefully that'll give you an idea of how to do them and get practicing with them, guys. So thanks ever so much for watching, appreciate it. If you've got any questions on this, please feel free to ask it below. If you can like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. And I'm gonna try and do something when I get up to like 500 subscribers. I think I'm gonna do a huge giveaway of some of the sponsor stuff that people that sponsor this channel from time to time have offered to sort of give away some stuff. So should be good fun, and as soon as we get up to 500, I'll do that. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna do some more painting videos further down the line, and thanks ever so much for watching. Cheers, bye.